So this particular podcast should come with a trigger warning. For those of you who break out into a cold sweat when thinking about grade school mathematics, I'm sorry, but I have to do this to you. If we flip over to page 93, um, I'm going to tell you that math, the way you know how to do it, math, the way you have been socialized in human language to do it, is a little bit different than the way C++ or other languages are going to look at it. Really, at the end of the day, if you look at the table 3-2 on page 93, they give you expressions all with values that you are not expecting. The long and short of it is that plus and minus are, in the way of precedence, they are less important than multiplication and division and the modulus, the percent sign as well. So when C++ during runtime comes across numbers that are in need of mathematical expression, what it does is it looks at that string of numbers there. So we'll just take the very first one, 5 plus 2 times 4, and the environment says, okay, look, 2 times 4 has a greater precedence than 5 plus 2. So 2 times 4 happens first. So we get 8 plus 5, which is 13. That is not the way necessarily that the rest of us would look at how to do math. It is my suggestion that when you are doing math, to always put the quotation marks around how you want the associativity, how you want the order of operations to take place. The environment will look at those parentheses and go evaluate these portions of the expression first, unless there is no reason to evaluate those first. If you've not got them there, there's nothing to evaluate. It simply goes, okay, is there a multiplication, division, or modulus? If no, just add and subtract. If so, do those first and then come back and do the adding and subtracting, etc. Forcing the code to execute the way you expect it to with the parentheses does a couple of things. Number one, it forces you to think about just how is this expression going to be evaluated. That's really more important than you would expect it to have to be. Number two, when another developer looks at that later on down the line, instead of using a lot of time, instead of using a lot of mental energy, figuring out just what it is you meant by this equation, forcing that order of operations, forcing the associativity there with the parentheses really does save a lot of time. It saves a lot of aggravation, and it just allows the whole coding experience from your perspective and from others' perspective just to happen a lot more smoothly.